Hello YouTube, it's Nine here with Hobbies of a Man once again, and today is our monthly rambling video. As the first video after our TBR. As always, we're going to have a ramble video, and today's topic might be a little bit weak compared to the other topics that I've done before, mostly because I couldn't really think of a good topic for this month. Like, there wasn't anything that happened in July that I had a particularly good opinion on, or anything that didn't require me to actually do research before sharing my opinion. Like, the only topic that I could think of was the fact that digital manga costs so much money and that things are not going to get printed physically, even though people ask for them. In this case, Tokyo Revengers, but in general, Blue Lock and stuff like that as well. But the problem is that, like, although I have a pretty good argument about why digital books shouldn't really cost as much as physical books, I don't actually have the necessary knowledge about how the industry works in order to actually have a good opinion on why they should be published physically, if that makes sense. So I didn't want to do that topic because that wouldn't really fit with my usual ramble videos. They're supposed to be off the top of the dome, very generally, opinion-based ideas, and I couldn't really share an opinion on something that I don't actually have knowledge on, so, like, I didn't want to do a video like that. So what I'm going to do instead is we're going to look at 5 different covers that I have, and I'm going to try to suss out of the 5 covers of the manga that I'm going to show you, what sort of elements or what sort of presence I like in covers, if that makes sense. I'm going to look at why I like the 5 covers that I like, and what sort of elements they share, and what sort of elements are different. And I'm going to try to kind of make this be some sort of exploration of my tastes, without it being too rambling. And hopefully that's a good video. I don't necessarily know if it's a good one. I just thought it was kind of interesting, and it was like the best thing that I could come up with. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you 5 different covers. I'm going to show you essentially my 5 favorite covers in my manga collection. And then I'm going to try to explain why I like them. So let's get into it. I don't have an order for these. I don't, think one is better than the other. These are just, the 5 favorite ones that I have. So the first one is Fairy Tail Volume 1, which I'm going to show you digitally because I really don't want to pull it out of its box. So there you go. That's Volume 1 of Fairy Tail. Then I have Volume 9 of Eden Zero. And there you go. We have Witch in the center, and then the Element 4 in the background. And we have this very nice kind of bluish, dark blue kind of color that is maybe kind of blue-gray in some way. I'm not really too sure what to call this color. But it's definitely not like the same color as Eden Zero Volume 1. Then we have My Hero Academia Volume 1. You might notice a trend here. A lot of Volume 1s are kind of my favorites. And I like this yellow background. I really like, we have, what's it called? All Might and Deku, and then a whole bunch of heroes back here. And I don't know, I like the yellow color. Yellow isn't really a color we see very often because it's usually very bright and kind of annoying, but I like that it was kind of included here as well. Then we have Volume 1 of Kaiju number 8, this beautiful dark red color with the silhouette of Kafka, or maybe it's not a silhouette, maybe it's Kafka in this very powerful pose. My understanding is that this is actually supposed to copy or maybe be an homage to Shin Godzilla, the movie poster for Shin Godzilla. I'm not too sure if that's true. If it is, I'm going to put the image of the poster right here so you guys can see it. But it's very nice. I like it a lot. Again, it's a very nice color that we don't see very often. It's this very nice, bright, kind of like Spider-Man red that I like a lot. Although I think it's a little bit darker than a Spider-Man red. And then we have the last volume here, Vinland Saga Volume 3. I love this purple cover. I think it's very nice. It's maybe not as dark of a purple as I personally like. I think the best purple that I've seen in manga is probably Eden Zero Volume 11. But I like this cover a lot because it has a very nice image on it. It has this very nice, beautiful orange background here that turns into this purple to kind of signify either the rising of the sun or the falling of the sun, depending on which way you want to look at it. But it's basically dusk or dawn. or like the kind of changing of the sky as the sun goes up or down, right? And then we have these very nice designed elements here, these kind of what's called Nordic naturalist patterns. I think that's what they're called. I took a class on art history, but I can't remember what this type of symbolism is called, but it's very nice. There's a very different one on each volume. This one has an eagle, which is really cool. And yeah, so here are the 4 covers plus Fairy Tale Volume 1. And some of them I like because they're very iconic. I think everyone knows what Fairy Tale Volume 1 looks like. And although it doesn't really have this kind of very noticeable kind of storytelling to it, it is very nice. It kind of shows you our main character in a very powerful pose. Well, debatable, right? Because Natsu isn't really the main character, but he is like the character around most of the story revolves, which is kind of odd. And then I think we have Lucy on the cover as well, and of course Happy, if I remember correctly. I don't actually remember exactly how it looks, but I know that it's one that I always think about. So yeah. And that one, I don't necessarily know why I like it. I think it's just a very nostalgic kind of thing for me, since Fairy Tail was and is one of my favorite series, even if it's not like the best plotline wise. I think it's just very good, and I like it for nostalgia's sake more than anything, which kind of isn't helpful to what this video is supposed to try to help me figure out. But I think that there's definitely a few things that we can suss out. I think I like the color choice a lot. The very nice kind of burgundy red, maybe Bordeaux kind of color. Is that a color in English? I know that in Turkish, Bordeaux is a dark red, and I know that that is also dark red in Spanish, like from Spain, but I don't know if that works in English. I think Bordeaux in English is just like a type of wine, or like a region of France. I'm not too sure, but hopefully you guys kind of understand. It's a very nice dark red that I think is very nice, very good. But other than that, I don't really think that Fairy Tail Volume 1 has any elements there that are truly kind of captivating. It's just a kind of nostalgia thing for me. For this one, I think that it's kind of similar. I really like the color choices, and I think that I just like this cover a lot because it's very hyped. I'm very in love with Kaiju No right now. And it's such a cool series, and it's so awesome. And I just love the color choice and how, like, maybe menacing this looks. I think Kafka looks so badass in this picture in his Kaiju No 8 form, with all of this lightning going through him and all of these kind of interesting colors, this like blue-green kind of thing. And I like how it, like, in the light, it kind of shines a little bit. And it has this interesting effect, even though it's not supposed to. It just kind of happens because of the way that it's so shiny. Which is very nice. I also really like that, you know, his gray skin is rather drab, which allows this green color to pop a lot. And it also fits well with the nice red. So again, I don't think that we can really suss out anything too much about this this cover specifically. I think that the only similarity between these two covers, this one and Fairy Tail Volume 1, is that I like the color choice and that I like the powerful pose of the character. However, that's not necessarily reflected in the other ones. So we'll see. Volume 1 of My Hero Academia. This is relatively similar to why I like Fairy Tail. I think it's a very powerful, kind of evocative image. I remember distinctly what this is supposed to kind of mean to me, right? It's the big anime that got me back into this world. And it's the first manga that I bought for my current collection. Before this, I only had about like 12 manga, like a lot of volume 1s of different series. I had Bleach Volume 1, One Piece Volume 1, Blue Exorcist. I had a bunch of them. But I bought those when I was like 14 or 15, and then I stopped collecting. And then this is the first one that got me into collecting right before I started this channel. So I think it's partially one for nostalgia, or maybe not nostalgia, but rather for its like meaningful meaning to my life personally. But I also think that this one kind of tells a story. I think that Midoriya walking in front of All Might is kind of significant of the fact that Midoriya is taking All Might's mantle, and we kind of see this as this kind of like the shadow of All Might looming over Midoriya as well, in this kind of more perverse, kind of evil way that kind of matches what's going on in My Hero Academia nowadays, right? And this kind of very interesting development of Deku's character. And then we see all of these heroes back here, if you guys can see that. There's Mount Lady, Backdraft, Bastionist, a bunch of different characters there. What's it called? All of the teachers, Nasu, Endeavor. Very nice. And I think that's also kind of exemplary of this kind of idea that Deku is going to learn from all these heroes by taking all of these notes that he does and kind of becoming something greater through like learning about them, right? This kind of idea that you learn from the past and stop making the mistakes of the past and then kind of grow out of other people's mistakes, right? This kind of idea of growth and development, right? I think it's very nice. I think that's why I like this cover a lot. Not only is it meaningful to me in a personal sense, but it's also meaningful to the story of the character and the way that these kind of manga chapters develop this idea, the same that kind of is reflected in the cover, if that makes sense. Then we have Eden Zero Volume 9. Now, this one is not as thematic as this one, but it does have this kind of idea that is kind of similar. It has the 4 bad guys that our characters are currently going to start fighting or have already started fighting in this volume. And we get to see, this very perverse looking guy, this kind of angry guy, then this kind of very intense girl, and this kind of crazy guy, which are all the element 4. I think it's earth, water, air, and fire. And it also is thematic to Witch's character because Witch is this magic user and she has the ability to change the aspect of her ether gear, her magic, to match different elements. And so she's the steel sorceress. And we get to see her in the center of all of these 4 elements in this very kind of significant way that's kind of tell us, she has these powers. It's very cool. It's very interesting. But it also just shows off a pair of characters in a very nice and interesting way. I think Witch is one of my favorite characters, so I really like that she got the spotlight here. I also like the design elements that were implemented. This kind of headpiece that she has, the lightning that flows around her, the kind of funny looking jelly slime thing here, and of course the outfit that Witch is wearing is very nice as well. So I think this one has some element of significance to the story, but it's also just a very nice, powerful pose for a very nice character. So I think that now we're starting to suss out what sort of things I kind of like in a manga cover. And so let's look at the last one here and kind of wrap this up so I can kind of get to a point and then we can finish the video. So here we go. This is Vinland Saga Volume 3. Again, the color choice is coming through, and this is kind of interesting. I didn't really care much for the color choice here. I mean, I think I like it, but it's not the best. But this one is very, very nice. I love the color choice because it's very interesting. It's very nice. It's a very pretty purple. But I also like the pose that we have here of our main character. We have Thorfinn, bloodied and kind of over this kind of hill, standing on top of people that are dead. One of them kind of looks like Askeladd, and the other one kind of looks like Ragnar, I think. Although they are not, they're different characters. But I don't remember their names, so I don't think that they're really that meaningful. But we get to see, Thorfinn on his quest for revenge, standing over people that look like people that have hurt him or that he vowed revenge on. But we also see him kind of defeated in a sense. He has scars all over him and he has blood all over him and he looks tired. He has this kind of face that tells you, he's over this crap. And we have the sun coming out behind him, which, can evoke a lot of different kind of ideas, like it's the end of the battle, or that it's the beginning of a new leaf, like a new part of his story, the turning of a new leaf, or something like that, right? So we can see that there's a lot of significance here. And this is very nice because this is the book in which we do kind of start to see that. We see Thorfinn kind of developing this slightly different ideology from the one that has been haunting him and forcing him to battle very, proactively in order to try to defeat Askeladd. And so we kind of see this change in him in this volume, and so it kind of is interesting because it's reflected here in the cover. So there you go. That's the 5 covers, and we kind of explore them a little bit. And I think I explored that very nicely. I don't think I stumbled too much, and hopefully this isn't very rambly, but that's pretty good. I like that. And I think that although I haven't really thought about this, I do have a general idea about what I like in covers, right? So we can kind of see that I like interesting color choices, which is very nice. I think a lot of people like interesting color choices. And then we can see that I actually like when the cover kind of tells you a bit about the chapters that are within the book, right? So we can see that I really enjoy these covers that are portraits that tell a story, which is not always the case. If we look at covers from Naruto, I think they all kind of fit the theme of the specific volume, but not that many of them are very kind of like deep and kind of very introspective about what's in the volume. So that's why I kind of didn't really pick anything from Naruto, mostly because I also don't really think that they're all that good. Usually they just have like a few characters just plastered on the front of the page. But I think that we can kind of say that I really enjoy covers that are colorful in a very nice different way. So colors that are not that common or that are kind of all-encompassing. I also like covers that tell stories and that kind of exemplify an aspect that is important in the volume itself. And then we can also see that I like covers that have the characters in very interesting, dynamic, powerful poses. So I think that's the 3 elements that make very good covers for me. And I'll probably make another video of this later on where I kind of look at other covers that fit the bill in my collection. But for now, I think that's basically it. I think that this was kind of interesting and kind of fun, and I didn't plan it at all. I actually didn't even know what I was going to do until I sat down to record this video. So that's pretty nice. I'm going to pat myself on the back here for doing kind of relatively well without actually having planned it out, which is very cool. It's very nice. For me personally, I'm not very good at stuff like that, so I thought that was very nice. But generally, I think that was a pretty cool video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and please let me know down in the comments what kind of elements you guys like in covers, right? And what covers are your favorite. I think this is kind of a nice, different approach to the whole kind of like my top favorite covers in my collection kind of videos. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I think it's very nice of you guys to kind of come along with me and watch all of these long and kind of relatively boring videos that I put out. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and see you guys later.